Ladies and gentlemen, the chairman of the WWE, Mr. McMahon.
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I am your host, the Commander Bear. Now, I don't know about you, but as a child, I used to love pro wrestling. Even today, I am caught by my wife watching highlights of a pay-per-view from time to time. Just seeing these athletes do stunts that defy gravity, go through and get destroyed by all different types of furniture, and take the most vicious blows to the body by baseball bats, sledgehammers, and even sometimes belts. Despite the vicious violence pro wrestling broadcasts, it also tells a very interesting story between two people who feud and build up each other's character. And as a viewer, it's almost impossible for me to peel my eyes off the TV. For today's deck tech, I am going to attempt to build a deck that captures that emotion, and hopefully, if you are fans of pro wrestling like I am, you'll enjoy this as well. The commander I want to talk about today is Kenrith, the Return King. He is 4 and a white, 5/5, legendary creature human noble. With pay 1 red, all creatures gain trample and haste until end of turn. For 1 and a green, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. For 2 and a white, target player gains 5 life. For 3 and a blue, target player draws a card. And finally, for 4 and a black, you can put target creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under its owner's control. In this deck, you are the CEO of your own wrestling company, and your goal is to give the people what they want. By using Kenrith's ability, you can connect with your fans and the other people who are playing and cash in favors. As a great CEO of your wrestling company, you need championships to tell the audience who is top dog in your company. And you are so awesome that you are going to have 5 championships to distribute to your wrestlers. Now, if you guys are unfamiliar with the lingo in the wrestling world, obtaining the brass ring is what wrestlers say when their character gets a push and gets the recognition as being top dog. And in my opinion, there's no better way to do this than give that well-deserved wrestler a shiny new belt. But in Magic, we don't have belts. We have rings. The first ring is the most coveted and sought-after prize among your wrestlers, and that is the Ring of 3 Wishes. Having this prize grants you anything you want from your deck and allows you to add it to your hand. Next, we have the Ring of Thune. Not only does our creature gain vigilance, but if it is white, it will get bigger every upkeep. Ring of Colonia grants our creature trample, and with every upkeep, it gets a +1/+1 counter if it's green. Ring of Evos Isle gives our creature hexproof for just 2 colorless mana, and if it's blue, it will get a +1/+1 counter on every upkeep. And finally, the last of our coveted prizes isn't a ring, but in other wrestling organizations, there is an annual tournament to win not a ring or a belt, but a trophy to see who would be next in line to be top dog. For this, we have Ever-Flowing Chalice. Even the name shows the heart and dedication these wrestlers have for the wrestling company that you run. Now, in my opinion, what makes professional wrestling so over the top is the use of weapons during the match. You see the quote-unquote good guy finally winning the match, and then all of a sudden, a baseball bat, sledgehammer, heck, even some hardcore companies, a piece of glass will appear to cut open the guy. Then the so-called bad guy picks up the item and goes to town on the good guy. For these sickening weapons, we are going to be running Dread Iron Sledge. This hammer is so powerful that not only when this creature blocks or is blocked, both creatures are destroyed. Razor Tail Whip is that weapon that's out there to tell your opponents to pay attention to what's happening to your show. Shard of Broken Glass is here to give your bloodthirsty fans something to drool over. And finally, we have Ronin War Club. It's that weapon that every wrestler in your roster will reach for to do some damage to their opponent. Another thing that makes professional wrestling so outlandish are the finishing moves they do on one another. Whether that be picking someone up and gently putting them down, crashing headfirst into another downed wrestler, or even a strike so vicious it stops the opponent dead in their tracks. We are going to be running Serpent's Gift. This lets our wrestler pull out their finisher out of nowhere and take down their opponent. Necrobite grants our creature to take down their opponent with one vicious strike, but they do not hurt themselves in the process. Ruthless Instincts not only lets our creature pull out their signature move when they defend against the opponent, but also perform a finisher that does so much damage it can cause the ring to collapse. Virulent Swipe can potentially grant 2 of your creatures to perform finishers to your opponent's creatures. Pounce is not only a literal finisher by a wrestler, but it also takes out an unsuspecting creature your opponent controls. Swift Kick is probably one of your most popular finishers your creatures can use, but it has been so overdone sometimes your opponents can survive it. Titanic Brawl really comes out of nowhere, especially when it comes from your biggest creature that you control. Next are the finishers that take a little more time to set up, but when it is performed on your opponent's creature, it will most likely put your opponent's creature away and finish the match. Go for Blood and Prey Upon should only be used if you know that your creature is for sure going to put away its opponent. Outmuscle is probably one of the hardest finishers your creatures can do, but if done correctly, your creature can come out unscathed. Savage Punch is usually reserved for our bigger creatures, but in a pinch, it can be quite a devastating strike. Hunt the Weak is another difficult finisher for your creatures, but when done correctly, it can put away almost any opponent. And finally, we have Primal Might. It is not only the best looking and most impactful finisher that your creatures can possess. Whoever can pull this finisher off deserves to be that new champ. Now for the moment we have all been waiting for. Let's see our roster of wrestlers. First up, we are going to be introducing our tag team division. The first tag team I want to introduce is Blaring Captain, partnered with Blaring Recruiter. In this tag team, Blaring Recruiter does his best to get the crowd going, only for Blaring Captain to deliver that devastating final blow. The next tag team is not the flashiest of tag teams, but Lay Weaver and Lore Weaver have made waves in the tag team division, beloved by many crowds and feared by many opponents across the world. And finally, we have the most devastating tag team in the world, in Virtus the Veiled and Gorm the Great. This has been the most feared tag team in all companies, as Gorm the Great takes all the punishment, while Virtus the Veiled performs his death-defying move onto his opponent. Moving on to our singles competitors. These up-and-coming athletes travel far and wide just to get a chance to be a Magic the Gathering superstar and become the next greatest wrestler in Magic's history. We have Archetype of Aggression. He is not only known for his intense presence, but whenever Archetype of Aggression strikes, he strikes with bad intentions. Archetype of Courage is one of the fastest strikers we have seen in this world. Everyone has a hard time catching this guy off guard. Blood-Soaked Champion is probably our most resilient creatures in this roster, as he does not know when to stay down or defend himself. Mistfire Adept is probably one of the smoothest up-and-comers, as he is able to not only do all your basic wrestling moves, but all the high-flying moves just as well. Sorrowform Hybrid is probably one of the coolest up-and-comers in this roster, as his ability only makes him stronger as the match goes on. Sigiled Contender is one of the most anticipated creatures in this roster, as he has fought all over the world just to come here to take on the best. Sightless Brawler is one of our most interesting creatures, as he has come onto this roster as a singles competitor, but it seems like he is more suited for tag team action. We also have a team of high flyers that came a long way to be on this roster as well. Kitesail Freebooter is probably one of the most talented high flyers, as he is so quick on his feet and predicts what his opponents are going to do next. Ruthless Ripper is a high flyer that throws caution to the wind every time she goes out in the ring. She puts her body on the line just to take down her opponent. Heir of the Wilds is a very mysterious one, but don't let his big coat fool you. This man can use his surroundings so well, he can take down any of our biggest athletes. Finally, we have Hand of Silumgar. I don't know where we got this guy, but geez does he fight like every match is his last. And for our main event superstars, these are the people that put butts in seats. These people are the reason why everyone loves this company and comes back week after week. Our first superstar, he is our two-time Ring of Thune champion, is Zulaport Enforcer. With his style of fighting, Zulaport Enforcer purposely drags on the match, only to get stronger and put away his opponents. Next is our 5-time Ring of Colonia champion, Ulrich of the Krallen Horde. Whenever Ulrich enters battle, he always means business, and if his opponent doesn't want to fight, Ulrich has no problem bringing the fight to them. Our next creature hails from places unknown. He is Species Specialist. With his quick and witty tactics, Species Specialist likes to apply pressure to his opponents and exploit their weak points. Rally the troops, guys. We have our 3-time Ring of Thune champion, the legendary Stormfist Crusader. She is small, but don't let that fool you. She often likes to take on 2-on-1 matches. No one person has stopped her before. The seasoned veteran has arrived, everyone. The 12-time Ring of Colonia champion, Kamal Pitfighter. This guy has been with this company for 10 years and has always gave everything he had during every fight. The living, breathing earthquake is here, our 10-time Ring of Thune champion. Magenta the Lion is here. With his unforgiving strength, he tears apart everyone in the ring. No one has ever survived his devastating finisher. We have the first ever Ring of 3 Wishes champion, an ever-flowing chalice tournament winner, Massacre Girl. She is the most feared creature in this roster, as she has proven time and time again, no matter how many opponents Massacre Girl has to face, she always gets the job done. No matter how many creatures are in the ring, Garna the Blood Flame has always been there to get the crowd to ask for more, and has always kept the action going. Here comes the monster among all monsters. He is the Hitman, Cheville, Bane among monsters. This man is absolutely terrifying when he gets his sights set on his opponent, and he will do everything he can to take them down. Our next creature is known all around as the Legend Killer. He is our 3-time Ring of 3 Wishes champion, Bounty Agent. This creature has taken down many legendary opponents, and he will do anything at all costs to do so. Don't count out our newest superstar. He is the most ruthless and our current Ring of Thune champion. It's Chainer Nightmare Adam. This creature is absolutely ruthless, specializing in no disqualification matches. He is a living nightmare in the ring. Next, we have our first dual champion. She currently holds the Ring of Colonia Championship and the Ring of Evos Isle Championship. It's Transcendent Master. She is so dangerous and unpredictable, and as the match gets longer, she is almost impossible to beat. Our next superstar is probably one of the strongest men I have ever seen. He is last year's ever-flowing Chalice Tournament champion. It's Brian the Stout Arm. I have never seen a creature that this man cannot throw out of the ring. Another creature in our main roster, she is the monster among men. It's Titan Hunter. Probably the scariest of all creatures in this roster. If you take your eyes off her for just 1 second, you risk the match ending at that very moment. Our high-flying sensation is here. She is not afraid to throw caution to the wind. It's the elite guildmate. She is known to be the most agile of all creatures in her division. Once you think you got her figured out, she always pulls something new in the match. Keep your eyes peeled for our next high flyer. He is our 3-time EVOS Isle champion. It's Keen Glide Master. Throw away any knowledge you knew about physics because this man proves time and time again, anything can fly. The most violent assassin is here. This man just loves causing pain to his opponents. He is our 5-time Ring of EVOS Isle champion. It's Plaguecrafter. You will never see a more entertaining creature on this roster than anyone. This creature is willing to risk life and limb just for the potential to take down his opponents. And finally, we have our 12-time and current Ring of 3 Wishes champion and 4-time ever-flowing chalice winner. It's Kresh, the Blood-Braided. Every time this guy fights, he only gets stronger and stronger. I don't know anyone in this roster who can stop the champ. Now, wrestlers are a huge part of the entertainment of professional wrestling, but we also have a small roster of managers that help out our superstars to get even bigger and more spotlight, but sometimes illegally help out in a match they have no involvement in. Our first manager that loves to stir up trouble is Uvenwald Tracker. There is no fight that this man can't make happen at any time. This guy is the slimiest, one of the most underhanded managers out there. It's the Onyx Mage, always trying to meddle in a match so his creature wins the fight. He is the most cutthroat of them all. He will also do anything to run this company. It's General Kudro, either by giving his creature a small buff for favorable exchanges or stabbing them in the back so he can get ahead. Don't let the looks fool you. You're witnessing the coldest manager alive. Last but not least, we have the man who has the ability to let his creatures get out of harm's way, or bribing a creature to throw the match. It's Guafa Hazid, Profiteer. Using his unlimited funds from his family, this man can put any creature out of commission whenever and wherever he wants. And that completes this deck tech for today. This deck was just a fun idea I had, and I wanted to share it with you guys. Being a fan of professional wrestling, I wanted to challenge my skills to see if I could make my own little wrestling company. Just a reminder, this deck is meant to be fun, flavorful, and not competitive at all, so don't expect to win a lot of games with this deck. You know, comboing off and playing the biggest and baddest thing can get a little tense at times, especially when you can feel the table is just in a bad mood after you played solitaire for the past 15 minutes. Guilty as charged, and I am aware that I can be that player in the playgroup. So I pull out this deck to ease the tensions and just enjoy the company of my friends. I hope you all give this build a try. Maybe you add some more creatures to the roster or change up your creature's finishing moves. The choice is all yours. Just remember to have fun. Thank you for watching the video. If you guys liked the video, please feel free to hit that thumbs up button. If you want to see more content, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click the bell so you can stay up to date on all of our videos. It's been a pleasure hosting this episode with you guys. I hope to see you all next time.